is a big place. There's a lot going on. It's the hub of business and commerce, and you're really getting sort of the melting pot of all of Vietnam. Saigon has amazing food, amazing culture. I love the back alleyways where you can find great murals and cool little coffee shops and restaurants and sort of explore the quieter side of Saigon.
Ho Chi Minh was the history is amazing. It was a war museum that we went to. I think it's called the War Remnants Museum. To see the Vietnam War stuff is really emotional, and they tell a powerful story.
It's very hot, it's very humid, but the good news is that leaves us behind as we sort of move up into the highlands. Fairly quickly you start getting into rural Vietnamese life with water buffalo and farming practices, and explore a little more jungle and a little cooler temperatures.
The terrain that we've encountered since leaving Ho Chi Minh City has been quite varied. We have cycled along the coastline, and although mountain ranges have gone right down to the sea, presenting some challenging climbs to ascend and descend. Very mountainous country and incredibly challenging cycling. However, they also gave you a great feeling of accomplishment when you actually did it.
The cycling has been very interesting, both out in the country, riding through very small villages, fishing towns, and busier towns. As we come into the bigger cities, it gets very, very crowded, very busy. And the markets and the people, bustling early in the morning. When you look at it from the outside, the scooter traffic looks as though people are just going randomly and nobody knows what they're doing. But when you're riding in it, it's actually quite clear.
It's like a school of fish. You try and stay in the school and just sort of move as people move. It's got sort of like an organized chaos that's nice.
There's a lot of honking, which is actually quite nice to know they're coming up behind you. So you kind of are going in and out with the flow of the traffic just like they are. I never felt actually unsafe around all the scooters.
I found Vietnam to be a bustling place, full of energy. Crowded streets with scooters zooming along. And on a bicycle, you're right there. You're part of it. You're in it. You can see it. You can smell it. You can sense it in so many ways. When you get out of town a little bit, the traffic lessens, the landscape becomes less developed to something that's a little bit more peaceful. Phong Nha. I really like Phong Nha. It's sort of a small little town, which is up in the mountains, and we got to go into the cave. Laos was a bit of an eye-opener and a pretty drastic change from Vietnam.
What really struck me on the day that we entered Laos was the basalt rocks, which are deep, deep black, against the creamy-colored clay. It was just such an incredible contrast.
We were going on small roads, but also going through small villages. And we saw so many kids, and they were so happy to see us. Really, really amazing.
And a lot of people, friendly people, hard-working people, honest as can be. And you smile at them, and their face just explodes in friendliness. So you reconnect with the sense of humanity, and it's not so much us and them, it's just us, you know, which is really nice. People are people, pretty much everywhere you go.
Laos is a small country. The landscape of Laos in the south is so flat, almost flat. The road is dusty and also is with some pothole, but a beautiful landscape. You see the real life of Lao people. You can see the villages. Some villages, they still have the bamboo or wooden houses. They have a happy life. Further in the north, in Laos, especially after the capital, Vientiane is a more mountainous, but beautiful mountain.
Some of the passes were more steep than anything that I've ever done anywhere in the world, and they were a real challenge to me and I think the rest of the group.
Laos is a Buddhist country, so about 80% of Laos are Buddhists.
Every man, most everybody, becomes a monk for a short period of time. And this is part of the culture, which allows them so much peace. I mean, it seems to work. You get a sense of peace in these places.
So people live together peacefully, especially the hill tribe people called Khmer or Uplander. So Khmer is the original people. They live in Laos before Lao people. And their lifestyle is different. When you cycle, you see the people smile and say "Sabaydi," that means hello to you. And when you come to Laos, you should not miss Luang Prabang. So Luang Prabang is a small town. So it was the capital of Laos before 1559. Luang Prabang was listed as a World Heritage Site by UNESCO because it keeps old tradition and culture. There's many temples, the landscape and scenery is beautiful.
The day I really enjoyed was kind of a mountain biking day. Long days, hard days, steep climbs, all kind of roads.
The 3 days of riding were going to be challenging but spectacular, riding through the mountains of northern Laos. With beautiful jungle, cool villages, lightly populated, and some amazing dirt riding.
A lot of the northern parts of Laos, which were really quite inaccessible. You know, if it wasn't for the aspect that we were on a bicycle or we could have been on a scooter, we wouldn't have got through some of those paths. And that was just an unbelievable privilege of being on this trip. Once we came into Thailand, the terrain was much more flat until we cycled along the range of mountains that separates Myanmar from Thailand, which is the northwestern border, initially called the Golden Triangle. We cycled along the edge of that ridge of mountains and then turned south into Chiang Mai. Chiang Mai itself is nestled in basically a cradle of beautiful mountains all the way around it. It's a stunning city to be in. Any cities that have mountains around them, they've just got so much more depth and height, obviously, to them.
Thailand differs markedly from Vietnam and Laos. In contrast, Thailand seems like a first world country. The roads are really good, just superb. You know, you're afforded a great view of range after range of mountains and forest. The food is absolutely stupendous. It's a very healthy diet, a lot of fish, a lot of vegetables, a lot of fruit. And the night markets were very exotic. There's a lot of action going on. And here, everyone's a little vendor who specializes. Somebody's got fish and somebody's selling fruit. It's just all very individualized merchandise there, which is kind of fun to peruse and look at. Under celestial lanterns that illuminate the place in a lovely way.
Thailand felt for sure a touristic area, but because we rode the back roads, we see parts of Thailand that tourists, they don't go. So it amazed me to ride my bicycle through village after village, among the rice fields, the banana field plantation. It's remote, but at the same time, we have things to see and to visit. So for me, it's not the Thailand that my friends know.
All the temples, they're so ornate. They're so wildly colorful with a mix between Buddhism and Hindu. And the monks in their saffron. And then also some of the ancient ruins. You know, the architecture is truly marvelous, inspiring. It harkens back to a culture of antiquity and great mystery. So that was also interesting to behold.
The Golden Buddha was very challenging. We were still having fun when it was tough. It was challenging, but I think just enough. Yeah, for me it was a good challenge.